Hello there, everyone. Hey there, hey. I know it's definitely been a while since the last time we seen each other, but you know, Tyler Perry took a little 2 to 3 week break, so I took a little 2 to 3 week break. Okay, and yeah, I definitely do know that my review is late, but I mean, honestly, I just ain't feel like doing it. Like this last week, I haven't really felt productive, but I'm here now and we ready to talk. So of course, the normal format, it's been a while, just in case you forgot, of how my reviews go is that first we are going to do a recap slash review, you know, summary of the episode, and then we're going to get into the character breakdown, and then we're going to get into the what we're looking for next episode, like where do we stand, our final review. So 3 parts. Stay tuned so we can get that going, boo. Episode 7, review of Tyler Perry's Ruthless, which of course comes on BET Plus. Now we can get right into it. So the episode, of course, it starts off with Ruth finishing applying Tally's makeup, because remember, Tally has to go and teach the little kitties a song for the visit. So while they're talking, Ruth is trying to convince Tally that she should go ahead and speak to Andrew. But of course, Tally is still the same place as last time. I don't trust him, like he's a goner. So Ruth shares that she'll get to the bottom of where Andrew stands, because, you know, outside in the real world, there used to be some bad B words, okay? And you know, they could basically just make men do what they want, and nothing's different, you know, where they're at right now. So she says that, and then they go outside, and of course they run into Andrew, and the first thing Andrew wants to say is that Tally looks lovely. And that actually confuses me, because it's like, Andrew, because mind you too, y'all, like this is the same day as the last episode, right? So that leaves me confused, because I'm like, Andrew, like, weren't you the same man who was just crying, you know, behind the little trailers after your wife came to visit you? And now you're over here in front of Tally face talking about something, you look lovely. How quickly they move on, right? So moving on, so Tally wants no parts, okay? Tally says goodbye and she goes about her way. And Ruth starts to walk with Andrew. And of course, her staying true to her word, you know, she asks him questions, like trying to fill him out to see where he's at. So she brings up his seating, right? And as soon as it, you know, like and as soon as Ruth brings that up, like Andrew, like he is shocked, okay? He is caught off guard, all right? He is embarrassed and he's ashamed. Like he just feels, you know, offended, as he should, because that ain't Ruth's business, and she done went way too far asking him questions. Which also too, I don't know if this was like an acting choice or if the script called for this kind of behavior, but during this whole conversation, like Ruth was really, she was really like demanding and like pushy in this, and I was confused, because I'm like, is this the method that you were referring to that you use out in these streets that, you know, make men give you whatever you wanted? Because this don't really seem like the right method, Ruth. I'm just saying. So anyway, so after that, you know, Andrew, because he feels offended, you know, and embarrassed, like this is his secret to bear, this is his shame to wear, like no one else's, you know, he decides to leave Ruth where she stands, and she's left looking stupid. So yeah, her little method did not work today. So then we pick up in the real world, you know, outside of the cult. If you remember, Lynn's cousin came to visit her, you know, and she had left. So Lynn's cousin comes back because she left her wallet, and she finds Lynn doped up and high because Lynn had licked the paper. That dang on paper. So Lynn's cousin decides to take her to the hospital, because you know what else she gonna do, because Lynn is completely out of it. And while she's at the hospital, the doctor tells her that what was on the paper was LSD. Which is like, Daikon, I thought you said you guys didn't use drugs. The lies he said, right? So then Lynn's cousin decides to call her husband. And who is her husband, you guys ask? The Spanish detective guy. Like, shock. Okay, and honestly, his name is Malcolm, so I guess I could stop saying Spanish detective guy, even though I kind of like saying it. So, so anyway, so they're on the phone, and you know, Lynn's cousin, which I also need to learn her name, but Lynn's cousin is filling him out and whatnot. And honestly, he seems like a good guy. I still don't trust him though, but you know, he seemed good and whatnot. And you know, he doesn't tell Lynn's cousin like where he's on his way to, which is a red flag. So anyway, so they get off the phone, and he goes to see Sarah, which is Andrew's wife, which is the one who did the little pop-up surprise visit at the little compound. Right, so yeah, so anyway, so he goes see Sarah, and basically he just goes there, you know, just to get like the 411 on Andrew, to see like how he looks, how he was acting and whatnot, and basically just to calm her down, because the chick is on 10, clearly. Like, why wouldn't you be after you just seen your little estranged little husband, right? So I definitely don't believe that they're sleeping together. I never ever said that, especially when, you know, when he sat down next to her, it was a good amount of space, so that was a real good sign. But he's still on my list because Spanish detective guy, aka Malcolm, I still don't trust you, and I know you got a motive. But moving right along. So Daikon goes to visit the highest, you know, and the highest, he is naked, okay, with a little soldier massaging his shoulders and a little soldier massaging his feet. Which I am starting to think, like, is the highest just like always naked when he in his room? And why is there always men surrounding him? But then again, we already know why, right? Exactly. So either go, so Daikon comes and pays him a visit because, you know, Daikon has to fill him out on the events with Andrew, right? So Daikon just shares with him like, oh, a woman came to visit Andrew, and then the highest is like, oh, his wife came, and Daikon's like, well, how do you know? And the highest is, well, you know, the Rakumas, he knows everything, right? And then the highest asks Daikon, why are you jealous of Andrew? Which I was a little thrown off, you know, because I'm like, dang, was Daikon jealous of Andrew? Because I never seen that. And I was kind of disappointed in myself because, you know, I be up in these storylines, okay? I be seeing stuff. But yeah, Daikon responds, you know, he doesn't want to be replaced because the highest has been having Daikon give Andrew a whole lot of attention, right? So the highest says like, oh, you've been with me for 12 years, like you can't be replaced. And then guess what they do, y'all? They kissed, okay? And when I tell you, when they kissed, I was shocked, okay? I had to do my little yell and everything. And it wasn't even just like a regular kiss, you know, it was a 3-second passionate kiss. Now, it wasn't wet, but it was 3 seconds and passionate, okay? And I just want to say kudos to me, because I definitely said, like, is Daikon in love with the highest? Turns out he was, because after them lips had separated, they definitely said I love you to each other and stared like very endearing into each other's eyes. Which also I'm actually very irritated because it's like, if you guys preach abomination to homosexuality, like, honestly, what do you guys call this? You get me? Like, because you got to know this is gay, okay? And if you don't see it as it being, you know, gay, then like, what do you guys see it as? Like, I really want that to be explained sometime in the season, sooner than later. But anyway, so then they leave, and then the next thing we know, Daikon is confronting Andrew about not telling him that his wife was here, or that he had a wife, right? And Andrew stands by his word. He's like, no, I did tell you. So then Daikon asks him, well, did you tell the highest? Because how does the highest know that you have a wife? And Andrew says he never told him. So my thing with that, what that lets me know is that Daikon, excuse me, y'all, but Daikon does not believe in this whole Rakadushi Rakuma's thing, because if he did, then when the highest said I know because Rakuma's knows everything, then Daikon would have never had asked Andrew. You know what I'm saying? He would have been like, oh, you right, he do be knowing everything, let me go ahead and go about my way. But instead he confronted Andrew about it, which definitely adds another layer to this, because it's just like, Daikon, where do you stand? You know what I'm saying? Like, but we're gonna get to that a little bit later when we talk about the characters and their needs and their wants. So yeah, anyway, so then in the conversation, you know, Daikon says that, oh, well, you should have told me. And Andrew, he starts to poke out his chest, okay, and gets a little bass in his voice. All right, and he tells him, no, I didn't have to tell you because, you know, as the highest says, like, that was my past life. I don't want to bring my past life into this life. And I just want to say again, like, kudos to me, because that's definitely the freaking answer that I said Andrew could use to worm his little way up out of here. I be knowing y'all. I be trying to tell y'all. And I'm like, Andrew, what's happening over here? Because you getting real bold, baby. You getting real bold. But we shall see. So then Brian and the deputy arrive. No, I'm sorry. Brian and the sheriff arrives. And it's like, finally. And why finally? Because we've been getting prepared for this visit for the last 3 episodes. And I've been real tired of talking about it. So, yay, they're here. And of course, when they arrive, they are met with song and smiling faces. Okay? And side note, definitely kudos to the diversity of blackness I seen in this little congregation as they was walking down. But at the end of the path, you know, there stands the highest, daikon, the elders, and the rest of them. Which also is like, how many elders are there? Like, I really want to know this, because it seemed like whenever elders are mentioned, it's always Mother Elder and Ruth. And also, why is Tally standing with them? Because I thought she wasn't an elder anymore. But then, of course, I mean, it does make sense, I guess, if Mother Elder is like the top elder, and then like when Ruth had got, you know, promoted to elder, she got promoted to like a top elder as well. So it makes sense that they're like always together and like always around the highest. And then maybe Tally's there because we got to keep watch on Tally. You know, we just got her out, so maybe they got to keep a close eye on her, but whatever. So anyways, right, so Mother Elder offers, you know, food for the sheriff and Brian, which of course they definitely do turn down, which is like smart move, okay? Because Mother Elder ain't trying to do nothing but drug y'all up. So Brian and Andrew, they go on their little tour together. You know, they go to look for the young man who was blamed, you know, for stealing the truck, right? So they find him, and the young man is just like, oh, you know, my punishment was, you know, painting these goods that they sell to markets and whatnot. And well, one, he was called a boy multiple times in this moment, which lets me know, okay, he must be a boy. And a boy as in like a kid, not like a man, but like a child, underage, which is like the highest. You so nasty. But anyway, I really do want to know, like, what did the boy do, you know, in order to deserve punishment? Because if you remember, the first time that we seen him, he was in like this little wooden crate, right? And then, you know, they got him out, and then they said, okay, you got to take the blame for stealing the truck, whatever. And then also, why did the highest have sex with him? You know what I'm saying? Like, was that part of the punishment? Or was that like you trying to cleanse him of his sins? Like, what the fuck was that? And then clearly it was his first time because he was bleeding. But then honestly, I don't know if that means that that was his first time. But moving on. Either way go, I just want some answers. So after that, Brian and Andrew, you know, they continue their little tour, their little walk. And through this whole time, like, Andrew is very, like, cold. You know what I'm saying? He cold, he rude, he mean, like all of that stuff right there. You know, he asked Brian, like, very standoffish, like, how do I know you? Like, I know you from somewhere. So Brian, you know, being prepared, being a professional, you know, got a whole story or whatever. You know, they come like to the terms of, oh, they're from the same hometown. You know, they both went like to rivalry high schools, and they used to play against each other, right? So Andrew challenges Brian, you know, saying like, oh, what's the quarterback name, whatever. Brian gives a name, and Andrew's like, no, you're wrong, that's not him, blah blah blah. And Brian, you know, standing his ground, you know, he tell him like, well, maybe you need to Google that, you know, basically like you need to look it up. It's been 20 years, you could be dusty. And Andrew says, you're right, I should look it up. But it's like, he ain't about to look up nothing, y'all, because y'all know he ain't got no internet. And he ain't got no phone, so what he looking up? Nothing. So they continue on their little walk, whatever. And then Brian asks to see like the containers. And mind you, these containers is where they keep like the prisoners, you know, the people that they throw in there, like aka Tally when she was up in there. And Brian is just like, no, I'm not showing you. And I'm sorry, no, Andrew's like, no, I'm not showing you. Brian is, yo, you need to show me, blah blah blah. And it looked like they about to throw down, like you could see like the little tensions building up. But then Daikon, you know, our favorite popper upper, you know, he pops up, whatever. He tells Andrew like, yo, make them feel comfortable, whatever they want, like show it to them. Which I was also confused too, because I'm like, Andrew, like if the whole goal here is to make them feel comfortable so y'all could be good, to live y'all illegal life freely, why is you being such a jerk, you know? And then it takes me back to him and Ruth. Like, him and Ruth has really been dropping the ball here, okay? Play by the dang on rules. Like, stop doing too much. So anyway, so like in that moment, Brian realizes that this is Daikon, the Daikon that Lynn has been calling in her sleep. How cute. So Andrew opens up everything, nothing's there, so they move on. So then they go back and they meet you know, the rest of them, the highest and the sheriff and the elders and whatnot. And, you know, Brian asks to speak to Tally. And, of course, everybody is worried, okay? Because, remember, Tally just got released that morning, okay? So, therefore, Tally is still, you know, she's a dangerous situation, okay? Because, you know, because she could have internal resentment for getting her ASS beat. Okay, so she could like want to snitch on them. She hasn't earned her trust yet. So they like, hold up, you said Tally, like we scared. So anyway, so Brian takes Tally off, and Tally's very short because she don't want to be there. She told Brian that his presence could get him killed. Brian's like, okay, well, is there somewhere else I could talk to you? And she was like, oh, Thursdays we go to the market. And then she tells him, I'm going to make a scene now. And he's confused. But when they get back, Tally most definitely made a scene, okay? She called Brian out in front of everybody, was like, yo, she feels badgered. He's been asking too many questions. Like, she don't feel comfortable, blah, blah, blah. Basically, Tally was covering her bases, okay? Because Tally said she ain't getting beat for no mother-loving body no more. Okay, so, Brian just being a professional, being quick on his feet. He said what he asked her, which isn't what he asked her, but he was playing the role and whatnot. And then the highest gets upset and he kicks him out. But of course, not before Mother Elder comes up with a little basket of goodies, talking about some here. I baked these for you. Go ahead and take them. Which is like, Marva, what is you doing? Okay, they were supposed to eat the drug-infused food there. Okay, like, why are you giving them physical evidence to leave with the goods just so they could go ahead and get it tested and find out that you've been drugging them and drugging everybody else who eat? So Marva, that wasn't smart. Think, girl, think. And then the highest is staring intensely at them as they walk away and then drive away. Like, his stare is like piercing, okay? And with a stare like that, nothing good is about to happen afterwards. And that's where we end. So, moving on to the characters review. Ruth actually gets on my nerve, and I know she be getting on my nerve like all the time, but she is getting too comfortable and like way too confident in this whole, oh, we can use the men to get what we want thing. Like, I understand like you're on a mission now and you got plans, but she's starting to get just too pushy. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's starting to get a little bit too risky. All right. And normally when people get, too comfortable or too cocky, you start to move real sloppily and you're not really covering your tracks. Okay. So Ruth, I'm a little weary about her because we need her to calm down, or else she's just gonna mess up everything and a little bit too comfortable, okay? Because these ain't the same men that you was out there dealing with on them streets. But moving on. So Tally ain't playing no games. Okay, when I say that, I mean that, all right? Tally says she ain't getting beat for nobody. Okay, she ain't taking no chances. She not trusting Andrew no matter what he got to say or no matter what Ruth says about him. She ain't doing it, all right? But she did tell Brian basically to meet her on Thursday when they go to the market, which means that she is still, she is still about that life, about escaping from this place. Okay, but she definitely made sure to cover her tracks by throwing him completely under the bus to make sure she was good. And that I gotta commend. You see, Ruth needs to take a little note, okay? But also too, like, did you guys realize how like their whole relationship took like a 180? Because at first it seemed as if Ruth was like the real like meek person, the more of not so much afraid, but just like the more meek personality or whatever. And Tally was like, no, we got to get out, like we got to do this. Like, she took more of a leadership role, and now they just reversed, but whatever. So moving on to Andrew, I do know the last 2 episodes I definitely did say, oh, poor Andrew, I feel so bad for him. But guess what, that is the thing of the past, baby, because F Andrew, okay? Period. Okay, because like, how did your wife just visit you and you were literally crying behind trailers, and now you all up in Tally face talking about something, oh, you looking real lovely? Sir, I can't stand you. And then also too, like, I wonder what's going on with him, because he's getting real like bold, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's been poking his chest out quite a bit. Okay, as in like with Daikon, which is crazy to me. Like, who you talking to? So with him, I'm trying to see like what's in his mind. Like, either he's getting fed up, or like maybe today just ain't the day for him to be like bowing down to certain people, or is he basically just starting to smell himself? Because clearly he does have high value. You know what I'm saying? Like, here, like, I don't know why he got this high value, but clearly he does, and the highest got his eye on him, whatever. And maybe like he's starting to see that, and it's like, yo, I got favor on my side, which I hate to use because I only use favor when it comes to my Lord and Jesus Christ, you know, and God. So I'll just say, like, you know, he's just special. Like, maybe he just realized he's special and he don't gotta bow down. I don't know. The fact that he kept saying Brian's full name, I feel like their journey doesn't stop here. You know what I'm saying? Like, we got another chapter with them, which of course makes sense since it's like a whole series. Next, since we're talking about Brian, let's talk about Brian then. Brian, I love you, man. Okay, and like, excuse this noisy dog, but I feel like I have been waiting for Brian, you know, to get his little time to shine. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, yeah, he's been in the episodes, but he ain't been adding nothing to the episodes. Like, he just been like this little nice little guy. It's like nothing special. But this episode, he let us know that, one, he is about this life, and two, try him if you want to, but he prepared. Okay, and most importantly, he quick on his feet. Because when he was riding with the sheriff, you know, he did tell him, like, yo, like, I'm fully, you know, weaponized, and also I got some other weapons besides the regular weapons, right? And, you know, he also told him, like, yo, if anything happened, like anything turned left, follow my lead. And the way he didn't back down to Andrew, okay, the way he stood his ground, you know, also too in front of the highest and Daikon, I was like, Brian, you my man, like, you know, I gotta watch out for you. And that's really great. I am interested to know, like, how they're going to tie him into basically, you know, coming into the Rakuma's, you know, the Rakadushi compound again. Because after this visit, it seemed like it's done, but we know it's not. So we definitely got to see, like, how they're going to weave that within. His wife, I hope she stay away. Nothing more I can say. But with that thing, of course, Brian has to find out that, oh, Lynn took some LSD, right? And I want to know, like, how does that, like, tie it into Brian's storyline, right? Like, you know, is it going to be like, oh, well, now I'm really, really mad at, you know, this group, and now I really got to, like, you know, go full force, like, this is personal? Or, like, is it going to make him want to have to, like, kind of step back so he could babysit Lynn? Or is this going to make him, like, want to put Lynn in a freaking institution because Chick can't be trusted, which clearly she can't be trusted? You know, that whole tie right there has me wondering, like, okay, well, what are we doing here? Because honestly, it seemed like it's useless information, but everything that they show us in these episodes, it has to lead to, you know, a bigger picture or a certain event that's coming. So that is what I'm always looking for whenever I do watch anything. So next, who we got? Daikon. Woo! Daikon is a layered freaking onion. Okay, and when I say that, I don't know if he's just like playing this role or if this like really is who he is, because one, we know that he really don't believe that drugs are being, you know, like given to people. Of course he could just be like putting up a front, but I'm just going to believe his words and say that he doesn't believe that, like, honestly, truthfully, that drugs is a thing on their little compound, right? He also thinks that the way that they get the money is through women's donations, when it's like, yo, where they get the money is through sex trafficking, you know, the young girls, you know. So, of course, right there lets me know, like, okay, clearly you're not as close as we think you are to the highest. But then when him and the highest spoke, you know, they've been in each other's life for 12 years now. Because, mind you, they did meet while they were in jail. So it's like, I'm starting to think, like, okay, well, maybe Daikon was, like, the one who started this with the highest. And that's why they're so close. But then also when, you know, it was clear that Daikon doesn't really believe in the Rakumas, you know, thing that's going on. Because, you know, if he did, then he wouldn't have pressed Andrew. I'm just so confused. It's like, so are you only here because you're in love with the highest? Because, you know, normally, like, in these things right here, like, people are there because of greed. And it's like, Daikon, he doesn't seem to be greedy. It's not like he's really after anything. It really just seemed like he believed what the dude was teaching. But we found out that's a lie. So it's really like, Daikon, what is your purpose? Like, what do you believe in? What do you stand for? Like, I'm so confused about that. I just don't get it, okay? And then also, with him being jealous of Andrew, which I never knew. I can't believe I missed it. But anyway, but like with him being jealous of Andrew, it's like, is this jealousy, even though it was quiet down by the highest at the moment, is this jealousy going to grow into something bigger? You know? And then, of course, we have the highest. What the highest, what's tricky about him is the fact that it's clear that the highest believes that, you know, Mother Elder and Daikon have his best interest at heart, and, you know, like, they willing to die for him, right? So that's cool with him. But he is very worried about his flock, you know what I'm saying? Basically, like, he doesn't know if his flock will follow suit, you know, with him. And because of what happened, you know, especially with like how like the sheriff and Brian left, you know, which is like very like uneasy, I feel like he's going to put his flock through tests, you know, basically to see who's down for him, like who's loyal, who's ready to like risk it all. And I wouldn't be surprised, you know, if they did that whole like, oh, you know, like, we're all gonna kill ourselves, whatever, so, you know, drink from the cup, whatever, and like whoever don't drink or hesitate, then, you know, they fail, because that's like the #1 cult test. I wouldn't be surprised. Mark my words. But anyways, I definitely feel like it's going to turn a little bit, you know, because basically he has to prepare them to come back, you know, now that their antennas is up, saying like, oh, Brian over here asking all these questions, like, we got to be on watch, okay? And then also, like, what the freak is his purpose with freaking Andrew? Like, why does he like him so much? Like, what is his plans with Andrew? That is what I want to know as well. So yeah, things that we got to stay tuned in order to find out. So yeah, I definitely enjoyed this episode. It was definitely entertaining, as every episode has been. We got answers to like a few questions, but not really, you know, which of course makes sense, because if we got all of our questions answered, then we wouldn't want to watch the show. But yeah, definitely still the writing is great. Well, I actually do want to complain about the writing just a little bit, because I do feel like there were a few holes in this episode, but I won't really know until I keep watching, because it could have been purposely done, or you could have just dropped the ball. Time will tell. Okay, I have heard like quite a bit of pushback with this show from people saying like, oh, Tyler Perry, like, he trying too hard to be cutting edge or pushing the envelope too much. And it's like, listen, if you ain't interested in this show, then baby, don't watch it, okay? We all got our freedom of choice, you know. All you gotta do is just change the channel, okay? Who supports him will support him. This show is not meant for the same audience that, you know, watches his other things. You know, this show is good at the end of the day. The storyline is great. Like, I thoroughly enjoy it, and I will continue to be here for next week's episode and all the weeks to come, okay? So until next time, y'all, which of course I'll probably see you in a few days, because this review is definitely way overdue. But until next time, y'all, bye.